Welcome to ClickMyProject.com. Let we discuss about the process effective image retrieval system using Dot-Diffused block truncation coding features. Let us see the abstract of the process. Content-based image retrieval is the process of identification of similar images present in the database. A feature-based approach is employed for the identification of the similar images from the dataset. The features were extracted from the images based on dot-diffused block truncation coding compressed image, color histogram features, and bit pattern features were extracted from the images. The similarity between the features were measured in terms of distance measurements. 5 similarity measures were used for the identification of similarities in the images. The performance of the process is measured in terms of precision recall, average precision rate, average recall rate. The input color images were collected from the image retrieval database. The red, green, and blue color channels were separated from the images. The color quantizers were extracted from the images. Minimum and maximum color space of the images were obtained. The extracted quantizers were used for the construction of minimum and maximum quantizers. The dot-diffused block truncation coding is performed for the encoding of the images. The bit pattern image is generated with the help of the encoding process. The color histogram features were extracted from the minimum and the maximum quantizers. Decoding process can be done based on the reversal of the bit pattern image. The quantized images were divided into blocks. The diffusion pattern is identified in the particular block. The diffusion pattern is then quantized using LGBTQ quantization, and the histogram values were calculated, which acts as the color histogram features of the input images. In the bit pattern image, the same process is applied for the quantized image is applied, and the bit pattern features were extracted from the images. The similarity between the features were calculated based on the distance measures, and the performance of the process were measured. Let us see the flow diagram of the process. The input color images were taken. The images were divided into red, green, and blue channels, and from the red, green, and the blue channels, maximum and the minimum values were calculated, and the maximum and minimum red, green, and blue channels were obtained. Using this, the color quantization is obtained. After that, we get a maximum color quantizer and a minimum color quantizer. The obtained maximum and the minimum color quantizer and the vector quantized maximum and minimum color quantizers were used for the color codebook generation. From the generated color codebook, histogram values were calculated, and based on that, the CHF features, CHF minimum features, and CHF maximum features were extracted. The same process is applied for the bit pattern features. For that, the color images converted into grayscale, and the grayscale images were then from the grayscale images, the bitmap index images were obtained, and from the bitmap image and the quantized bitmap image, the codebooks is generated, and from the codebook, histograms values were calculated, and the binary pattern features were extracted. Bit pattern features were extracted. These two acts as the test features for the process. Now the train features is taken. The train features is the same CHF min and CHF max and the BPF features extracted for the input, extracted from some set of images. Here we have used 200 images for this process, and for those images the features were extracted and the distance between these two values were calculated, and if the calculated distance is minimum means then then the images were obtained as the similar images, and the performance of the process is measured based on the average precision rate, average recall rate of the proposed method. Let us see the running procedure of the process. If you want to run the code, select the file main no GUI which is present in the source code folder. Right click and click on run file. You will get the process started. First, select any one of the images which is present in the dataset. The dataset contains some 200 images. We can select any one of the images from the dataset. So select any one of the images. So the images in the dataset were alone trained, and hence the result will be accurate for the images which is present in the dataset alone. Now this is the red, green and the blue color space of the input image, and the process goes on. This is the gray converted image. This is the bitmap image obtained. This is the max RGB and the min RGB images obtained from the input image, and then quantization. So this is the minimum and the maximum quantized images. So finally this is the decoded images, and these are all the quantized CK min and the CK max images. From these we extract the features, color histogram features. This is the CHF minimum features and this is the CHF maximum features, and then this is the bit pattern features obtained from the image. After the extraction of the features, we have to select the number of dimensions of the features that we want to use for the process. So we give any one of the ranges, that is 16, 32, 64 or 128. So within those values we have to give any one of them. So we give 32, and we have to retrieve. We have to give the number of images that we want to retrieve. So there are 20 images for each categories in our present data set. So we have to give values within 20. So we give any one of the values within 20. So after that, the type of distance that we want to use for the retrieval process. Here in the base paper 5 distance matrices were used. From that we can select any one of the distance matrix for the calculations. So after that the images, the results will be got and the regions will be extracted. This is the similarly retrieved images from the dataset. This is the performance measures for different numbers of the features that we have taken as the input. So here are the performance metrics for each bit pattern features and the combination of the color histogram features and the bit pattern features were displayed here. The obtained values were represented in a graphical format. Similar to this, this is the average recall rate of the process, and this average recall rate is represented in a graphical format. This is the performance values depicting the precision and the recall value of the process. Thus, the similar images were retrieved from the dataset and the performances were measured.